Welcome to the stream. I hope you guys enjoy a lot of news because we have a lot of it. But before we get into it, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe and watch the video all the way through. It helps a lot with the algorithm of people coming in and out, so I would greatly appreciate it. Let's get into it because we have so much news. X-Men 97 recently came out and it just started where it left off, and it was so good. It was probably one of the best Marvel things to come out in a very long time, and this is before Deadpool x Wolverine came out, so it was great timing to get us something to snack on before we were gonna watch Deadpool x Wolverine. But it turns out it was a full course meal with characters that everybody loves, and reminding us that Wolverine isn't the main part of X-Men, and it has a great plethora of characters that do well on their own as well. Unfortunately, that also came with some controversy when the executive producer and creator of X-Men 97 was fired, and for some reason we didn't know why until now. The executive producer and creator, DeMeo, says that it was because of a post that he posted of himself as a drawing with kind of a more revealing outfit than Disney likes is the reason why he was fired. But the reason why he was fired, according to some people, is very different. The Hollywood Reporter, which, by the way, if the Hollywood Reporter is reporting on this, it's more than likely true because they don't report without it actually being concrete sources or actual proof. And I quote, "Mr. DeMeo was terminated in March 2024 following an internal investigation. Given the egregious nature of the findings, we severed ties with him immediately, and he has no further affiliation with Marvel." The statement did not go further into details, but the THR report says DeMeo Season 2 credits were removed due to contact breaches surrounding DeMeo's occasional social media posts about the show after his termination. The THR report also says sexual misconduct was involved in the internal investigation into DeMeo. DeMeo did respond to the allegations and things that Disney said with his own statement, and responded with, "The truth will be revealed." After the Disney Plus disaster, Marvel wants to mislead with alleged contract breaches over tweets. It's tragic it's come to this, but it's unsurprising. Stay tuned. Not only was DeMeo working with X-Men 97, but he was also working on the Blade film that has been long awaited and people have been waiting for the past 5 years. So I want to know what is going on here, because Disney is not innocent when it comes to using contract breaches in order to paying people for the work that they've done. An example of how bad Disney can be. Recently, Disney was trying to get out of paying a lawsuit of a widow who lost her husband due to a food allergy, even after warning them and them assuring them that all the food allergies that he was allergic to wouldn't be in the food. It ended up being in the food and killed him, and they are suing Disney, and Disney was trying to get out of paying them with a contract that they had Disney Plus trial. So because of that, they waived all kinds of things, of lawsuits of any kind, and they recently came out and said this is not who Disney is, so they are settling the suit. So I tend to want to side with DeMeo, but with the way things have been going on with people, I'm kind of hesitant to do so. So Black Myth Wukong recently came out, and it is a hit, being the most played Steam game and surpassing Cyberpunk as the most played Steam game, which, by the way, if you didn't know, is the most played game on Steam ever. So this game is a hit. There's over 2 million concurrent players playing this game, which, good for this studio. It's a brand new studio from China, and yeah, it didn't come without its controversies. They did give out keys to streamers and to reviewers, but it came with some caveats of do's and don'ts. And here are some of the caveats of do's and don'ts. Do not insult other influencers or players. Do not use any offensive language or humor. Do not include politics, violence, or nudity, feminist propaganda, fetishes, and any other content that instigates negative discourse. Do not use trigger words such as quarantine or isolation or COVID-19. Do not discuss content related to China, game industry policies, opinions, news, and etc. Some of these are completely reasonable, and other one of these are just completely why am I not surprised that a game from China is trying to suppress certain things being said? for content creators, and it doesn't surprise me. I'm just glad that the game is really successful and it's doing really good, but at the same time, come on, man. Like, really? That, like, we can't just enjoy the game? Like, they just did the Barbra Streisand effect by telling us to not talk about politics and China's policies of gaming and how they treat gaming creators over there. Now we're gonna talk about it. Here I am talking about it, of how not to talk about it. So now everybody's gonna talk about it. It should never be a thing that if your workers are being mistreated in a certain industry that, oh yeah, if you want to use our product, then you can't criticize us. Yeah, that shouldn't be a thing, and I really hope this doesn't take away from the success of Black Myth Wukong. Apparently it's really fun. It's a little buggy right now. I'm waiting for it to be updated and be kind of better to even try it out. But yeah, so I hope that this doesn't affect the game in any way. I doubt it will, but to be honest with you, yeah. Amazon is rumored to be having a show coming out called Secret Levels, which is hilarious, and it's going to be an anthology kind of show, but it's different types of video game worlds. The game Spelunky and some PlayStation titles are rumored to be in this anthology. This is on top of the fact that Amazon is working on a God of War series. It's going to be set in the Norse mythology era. But on top of those shows that are rumored to be in this Secret Level show, Warhammer 40,000 Space Marines is rumored to be part of this show, which is really cool considering the fact that people have been wanting that for the longest time. And it was also rumored that Henry Cavill is wanting to make this show as well. This show sounds really intriguing. I can't wait to see what other worlds that this show has. It really feels like they're taking notes from Love, Death, and Robots and kind of putting it into their own version, but with video games. Because a lot of the parts of Love, Death, and Robots that people liked were very video game-like and could probably be their own video game. So why not make an anthology show with actual video games in it? So this is genius. I hope it's really good, and I can't wait to see it. Temuera Morrison is known as the actor of Boba Fett, and people love this character so much. Even before this character had any kind of character development or any kind of background, people love this character purely because of the fact he looked cool. And for the longest time, people wanted more of it. Well, in The Mandalorian, we got more of Boba Fett, and we also got more of him in the Book of Boba Fett, which wasn't really that good, but at the same time wasn't as bad as what he's about to say of why we might not see any more Boba Fett. This show reception does seem to have impacted the future of this character in the franchise, so Boba Fett will not be coming out in the movie of The Mandalorian and Grogu. It will not feature Boba Fett, and he will not be in there. I really hope that they do continue with Boba Fett because the character did seem to have a lot of potential. I don't know what they were doing in the Book of Boba Fett, but the thing that was missing with Boba Fett was the actual action and him actually doing things and negotiating things in the most corrupt part of the universe. And for some reason, they didn't do any of that. So now we have to kind of hope that we get more Boba Fett. I hope that we do. I really like the small parts that he had in The Mandalorian when there was action-packed and really good, and his character and the actor Temuera Morrison is a really good actor, so I hope that they continue with it in the future. I love remakes, and especially when a game really needs remakes, I love them. I think that they're really good, and when they're done right, Shadow of the Colossus being one of them, is kind of a whole breath of fresh air into the game. And the only thing I don't like about remakes is the fact that they usually price them horribly. A remake should cost at least $49. Until Dawn is getting a complete remake up and down, and it costs $60, which I really don't think is justified of a price. I think that most remakes should be at least $49, but that's just me. And it is coming with a lot of controversy. A lot of people don't like this, and rightfully so. Some people are saying that the price tag is justified, while others are saying that it is completely unjustified, which I'm gonna go with the fact that is pretty unjustified. A game should not cost this much money for a remake for a game that most people have already played. while I understand there's people that haven't played this game and are probably going to pick it up, yeah, it's not justified at all. It's not. I don't think the games that are remakes should cost this much, unless they're reworking the voice acting, unless they're doing the animations all over again, which they're not. And yeah, so it is going to be a good remake. Usually these remakes for PlayStation are really good, but at the same time, it's like, come on, man. Like, come on. So the hat that Harrison Ford wore in Temple of Doom for Indiana Jones has now been sold for $630,000. Damn, rich people be spending money on anything, I swear to God. This hat was specifically only worn in Temple of Doom. It wasn't worn in any of the other films, but it wasn't the only thing that was sold at the auction. Also, a Trooper helmet was sold from Star Wars Episode 6 for $315,000, and a wand that Harry Potter used in Prisoner of Azkaban for $53,000, and a suit worn by Daniel Craig in Skyfall for $35,000. Some of y'all have so much money that y'all don't know what to do with it. Not gonna lie, I'm a little jealous because that hat's pretty iconic and pretty cool. Given that Temple of Doom is probably the first Indiana Jones movie that I saw and has a special place in my heart, I'm a little jelly, but damn, that's a lot of money, for reals. This also comes with the news, oddly connected to video game news. This also comes with the news that there was a big Xbox game that was going to come to PlayStation very soon, and people were speculating that it was Forza. People were speculating that it was these other games. Turns out that Indiana Jones, the new game that is being developed for Xbox and by Bethesda, is coming to PlayStation 5, and yeah. It has been long speculated that Xbox games would slowly come to PlayStation more and more. The other game that I think is probably going to be next that's going to be announced that is that big of a iconic character is probably going to be Blade, that's coming along with the new Elder Scrolls game that is being developed. Don't expect Xbox to hold back when it comes to their games and make them exclusive. That's not what they believe in anymore. They believe in Game Pass and using their recently acquired studios to make money on other platforms, because having them exclusive on Game Pass and on Xbox doesn't really make them as much money because the brand isn't as big as PlayStation, and PlayStation did warn them about this. Other executives did warn them about this and how this is really hard to make money off of game subscriptions unless you already have a established brand with a lot of money, and even then Xbox couldn't do it. So it's don't expect them to have those exclusives on Xbox for very long. It more than likely is going to be free on Game Pass on the highest tier, but don't expect it to be only for Xbox. Final Fantasy XVII was exclusive to the PS5, and it was going to be a timed exclusive. It was only a matter of time before it was going to come to PC, but we just didn't know when, and we finally know the answer at Gamescom. It was announced on September 17th, 2024, that Final Fantasy XVI will come to the PC, and it will also be $49.99. But if you want the expansion DLC, it's going to cost you full price to $69.99, which really isn't that bad, to be honest with you, considering that you get everything in the game, plus you get all the PC specs and get to play the game at high resolutions and high frame rates. So 60 frames per second is a sweet spot in my opinion. But yeah, we finally are getting it. This is going to be the model from now on with PlayStation when it comes to third-party games. It's more than likely going to be on the PlayStation for a certain amount of time, and then it's going to come out on PC cheaper with their DLCs on, which, to be honest with you, it's a win-win for everybody. PlayStation gets their exclusives, they get to appease their players first, and then PC players get it cheaper and then they get to get it even cheaper with the DLCs at full price. Yeah, I mean, if you have a PC that can handle this, I highly doubt that this is going to be a really hungry game if it's not optimized. So let's hope that it's optimized. PC players have been screwed over recently because of the fact that the games that have been coming to PC really aren't as optimized as they should be. Let's hope that this is one of those games that is optimized. So the Batgirl movie was canceled, I think a year ago or a year and a half ago, and it was done. It was ready to be put in theaters, but they didn't put it in theaters because they figured that this movie was really, really bad to where they could just shelf it and call it a loss. Warner Brothers thought that the movie was that bad. They recently came out and asked Michael Keaton if he cares if the movie was canceled or not, and if it bothers him, and he just plainly said no. And I quote, "No, I didn't care one way or another, Big fun, nice check, Keaton said. According to the outlet, rubbing his fingers together in money gesture resembling the act of clutching dollar bills. Like, I mean, what do you want him to say, man? He went to work, he did his job, the movie didn't come out, he still got paid. Like, is that a crime? Like, I didn't, like, people are really upset that he said this, and he's not like, they should release the movie and this and that. Like, bro, that's not his job. The job was the studio's job to determine whether or not that movie should come out or not. They didn't think it should. We've recently seen movies that probably should have been shelved, which was Borderlands, that lost them a lot of money. Batgirl was more than likely going to do that in their eyes, so they just shelved it. I really do wish that they would put it on Max, but at the same time, they think that it would just damage their brand altogether, which, again, you can't really blame them for doing that. Do I want to see the Batgirl film? Yes. Do I want to see Brendan Fraser in a Batman movie? Absolutely. But I understand where they're coming from an executive point, and I understand where Michael Keaton is coming from saying, like, I did my job, bro. I got paid. Bye-bye. Pacific Rim is one of those IPs and movies that deserved better. It really did deserve better, and I think Legendary understands that it deserved better and has learned from its mistakes. And given the fact that they've done such a great job with the Monsterverse universe with Godzilla, I think they've learned their lessons, and I think they know what to do now. This comes with Legendary announcing that there's going to be a Pacific Rim show that they're currently creating with Eric Heiser. And Eric Heiser is known for the movie Bird Box and more known for the movie Arrival, which, if you haven't seen Arrival, is probably one of the best movies made in the past 10 years, or 20 years, I should say, because it's getting old. Oh my god. But yeah, like, it's such a good movie, and he was, I think, a part of that movie either by writing or executive producers. Legendary seems to have a lot of faith in Eric Heiser and are giving him a chance to make an IP-driven related projects will be coming, and this show will be dealing with the origins of how everything started. No future projects have been announced, but they did say. Eric is a multi-talented, prolific creator whose track record of critical and commercial success speaks for itself. Legendary Television President Jason Colfire said, "We're thrilled to launch our partnership with Eric, Chronologically, and Cameron with a new entry into the epic, globally popular Pacific Rim universe. We are certain their vision will make for an enthralling expansion to Legendary's beloved franchise." This is kind of like my dream scenario that would happen with this show, and that is, I really hope that Pacific Rim at one point or another crosses over with Godzilla. But for now, I really hope that they give this show justice. I hear that the anime that they made was really, really good, and it was trending for a while. And I'm guessing that opened their eyes to see, like, yeah, this franchise deserves better. And I hope they do give it better, because it deserves it. The first movie was really good. The second movie was just complete garbage. But yeah, let's hope that they do a good job with this show and continue to make more entries to this franchise that we can love and appreciate. The Acolyte is probably one of the most disappointing shows that has come out from Star Wars in a long time, and that's because I had a little faith in this show, because Jon Favreau was working on it alongside with other producers that are now taking over to the entire franchise of Star Wars, and this was their first entry to the show, which was very mediocre. IGN gave this show a 6 out of 10. Me personally, I would probably give it around a 5 out of 10 or a 6 out of 10, around there, in between 5.5, 6, around that score. And it was so disappointing because it was such bad writing. It was so sloppy, but it had a really great insight to the universe 100 years before the Phantom Menace happened and everything that went on with Luke Skywalker and the Luke Skywalker saga and the Anakin Skywalker saga. And it was supposed to give us a lot of insight. They teased that they were going to be showing Darth Plagueis, and also they teased Yoda in this show. But unfortunately, we are not going to be able to see a season 2 for The Acolyte, because it is officially canceled, because it had such low ratings for its last episode that nobody really watched it, even though the last episode had some amazing fight scenes and some really great plot twists. But it's an unfortunate thing that happens, and Disney is now kind of cutting back when it comes to Disney Plus shows, because it's not going to be spending its money on things that really doesn't bring in that much money back. I need people to keep in mind that streaming takes a lot of money and a lot of resources to keep the infrastructure up. A lot of people think that these companies can just jump in and spend as much money as possible and just be on top. In reality, it's not the way it works. The reason why it worked for Netflix is because they had an infrastructure with DVD that they had to back up on and to get money from, and DVD rentals and Blu-ray rentals. But when it came to their streaming service, they did it slowly but surely, and everybody got it because it was super cheap. Now when it comes to Disney Plus, it's not cheap. It's kind of expensive, to be honest with you, when you have to consider that you want to get Amazon Prime, you want to get Netflix, you want to get HBO because it's HBO, you want to get all these other streaming things, and it costs money, and people aren't going to pick your platform if you don't have the things that they want all the time. So like, Disney's starting to realize, yeah, it's expensive, and we're not going to be like putting money into a money pit into shows that don't hit for us and don't get us subscribers. And it's only natural that they canceled their show. I really didn't want them to, because I saw the potential that this show had. It had a lot of intriguing storylines, especially criticizing the Jedi. Like, I think the Jedi should be criticized more. And it also gave us a glimpse into the plagueis world that we've been wanting to have. I hope in the future that Star Wars kind of connects into the plagueis world more and kind of shows us more what that is. But yeah, unfortunately it's canceled. We're not getting anything anymore from the Acolyte. And yeah, the rest in peace to Acolyte, I guess. Pour one out for my homie. Modern Warfare 2, the 2009 version, is probably the most iconic multiplayer game ever and the most iconic Call of Duty multiplayer game ever. So a modder was going to kind of try to revive that part of the game with the remaster and add a mod to it that made it play and run like the 2009 Modern Warfare 2. But unfortunately, Activision had other plans. It let people buy a bunch of games, and more than likely these gamers can't get a refund because of the fact that they probably played more than they should in order to get a refund. The reason why they got the game and got so hyped is because the mod looked really good and it looked like it could deliver exactly what it was saying. But Activision had other plans and gave the modder a cease and desist. The modder is quoted saying, essentially because of the popularity H2M was gaining and how close it is to Black Ops 6 releasing and the market and the beta, they didn't want H2M interfering with the possible sales of Black Ops 6, Watchwolf said. However, Activision cease and desist doesn't actually name check Black Ops 6 or suggest sales of the game would be affected by the release of H2M. The actual quote of the cease and desist goes by, the developers are constantly hard at work creating and maintaining the Call of Duty games, and projects like H2M mod threaten to take away from their efforts. The modder then came back and said, I admit it was vague and could just be an excuse, of course, as it is their IP to handle as they wish. So unfortunately, this mod is completely dead. It's not going to happen. And to be honest with you, it does sound like, I'm on the modder side, it does sound like, yeah, Activision doesn't want it to interfere with Black Ops 6, not even a little bit. Do I think that it would interfere with their sales of Black Ops 6? Absolutely not. Unfortunately, gamers are already kind of like programmed, oh, Call of Duty came out, I'm going to go buy it. And it's going to sell millions. It's probably going to sell 10 million copies considering that. And from Black Ops, like, it's been like one of the best parts of Call of Duty. I don't think that it's going to do anything to them. I don't think it's going to take any sales away from them. I really wish they would have allowed this mod because it's a mod. Like, come on. But at the same time, it's like, okay, I guess they're more than likely going to take this into consideration and release their own version like all these companies do. Man, Activision is such a scumbag, and it's always been for the longest time, but I kind of understand it's their IP. They can do with it with what they please, but whatever. People were really hoping that this new GTA Plus was going to give them a new version of Bully, which people have been asking for. I've had people in my stream asking me, do you think a new Bully game is going to come out? The answer is absolutely the hell not, because Bully was already kind of a mid-game. To be honest with you, it's not one of Rockstar's best games. It was good for the time, but at the same time, in the climate that we currently live in, I don't think Rockstar wants to look bad and doesn't like the reputation that it had when it released the game Bully. And so, but it is giving players a chance to play the first original release of Bully on PlayStation 5, and it's going to be a re-release of the PS4 on the PS5 that they can play via backwards compatibility. Players on Xbox and Xbox Series X can download and play the Scholarship Edition via backwards compatibility. Bully Scholarship Edition contains 2 missions, classes, clothing, and 2-player online mini-games not included in the original launch of the game. So at the very least, you get something new. And I like to correct myself, it contains all the missions, not just 2 missions. So yeah, like it's gonna be the original version of Bully with a little bit of perks on top of it. And that's the best you're gonna get. I don't think that you're ever gonna get a Bully sequel, and I don't think you'll ever get a new entry into the game. I could be wrong, but yeah, I don't think Rockstar wants to be known for its time when it used to create Bully, and especially after the controversy of the hot coffee mod. And if you don't know what that is, go Google it. It essentially made Rockstar extremely embarrassed and kind of move away from ever releasing anything that kind of makes them look super bad in the eyes of consumers. Because on GTA, they say edgy stuff all the time and they take risks, but that's because it makes them money. Bully doesn't really make the money, and they're not willing to take that risk. And also, by the way, the hot coffee mod is the reason why Rockstar hates modders. It absolutely detests modders, and yeah, I can't really blame them that much. Ghost Simulator came out in 2014, and it was one of those games where you were like, people are actually gonna play this game, and it started the revolution of game sims in general. Now you have car wash like simulator, or like car scrubber simulator. Yeah, the one that started all that was Ghost Simulator, and it made it famous, and it came out in 2014. And even Ghost Simulator now of that era is getting a remaster with new graphics. It's gonna look nice, but it's gonna keep all the, and I quote, beloved in-game bugs from the original game remain. And yeah, they put a trailer in it and they reference all the bugs that everybody loves about the game. I hope that they price this reasonably, because the one thing of remasters that I hate is that they always price them horribly. Please price your games accordingly, for the love of God. The remaster also includes every DLC from Ghost Simulator, as well as one DLC previously exclusive to the mobile version. So yeah, price it accordingly, guys. Please do a good job. I know you guys can do this. Please do a good job. Gamescom was kind of opening with all the games that everybody wanted to hear from third-party games, and Little Nightmares 3 was one of those games. There really isn't an announcement when it's coming out, but they did give us a lot of details of what the game is going to be like. The game is going to be on a darker, more terrifying journey than ever before, and I quote from the developer. In it, a brother and sister go through hell to rescue their missing friends and escape the island that they used to call home. The game is going to focus on horror with hope in this unsettling tale. The emphasis is on the tension and thick atmosphere as you join the 2 orphans on a desperate search for hope and redemption in the direst of circumstances. This game is going to feature co-op, so if you like playing with somebody else and you're too scared to play it on your own, this game is for you, and this game is for me too, because I am very scared when it comes to scary games. So if I can get this and force somebody else to suffer with me, the more the merrier. Let's do this. Another game that was announced on the opening night of Gamescom is Genshin Impact is finally coming to Xbox. It was a long time coming. It was a console exclusive to PlayStation for the longest time, and it's going to be coming with a 5.0 update coming on August 28th. The trailer showed off new characters such as the Shark, Surferboard, I cannot pronounce any of those names, so I'll put it on the screen, as well as various locations in Natalan. It's nothing we don't know about already, but it was nice to get a new perspective on all the nations ahead of release. So not only is Xbox getting a brand new game, but it's getting all the new 5.0 update. On top of that, people are asking, when is this coming to the Switch? And I'll tell you when the Switch 2 comes out, because if Genshin Impact releases on the Switch, the opening title will make your Switch explode. Like, this game is not just one of those games that kind of like, oh yeah, it's a gacha game that doesn't look very good. This is probably one of the prettiest games that is a gacha game and an MMO It's a beautiful game. It's so good looking. The music's amazing, and Xbox users are in for a treat. That is if you can handle Paimon being the most annoying fucking NPC on the planet. There's a reason on recent updates why they don't let her talk so much, because Jesus Christ, Paimon is one of the most annoying characters that introduces you to the game and kind of turned me off from playing the game altogether. But yeah, I can't wait for Xbox people to be playing this game because, again, the music's beautiful. I like walking around in this world. Like, I hardly ever fast travel in the beginning when I played this game because it's really beautiful and it's really nice to look at. So if take it all in, take in the music, it's a really relaxing game. It is a gacha game. It is a grind to get all the things that you want to get. It's a really hard grind, but it's a really nice game. So I can't wait for you guys to try this out. I can't wait for Switch users to try it out when the Switch 2 comes out. Starfield is set to release a DLC expansion that people have been waiting for the longest time. It was announced a couple of months back, but they really didn't have any kind of concrete release date. Now we have a release date that is coming in 2024. Shattered Space is going to be releasing in September 30th, so very, very soon. Gamescom was completely on a roll and announced that it was coming out. They did make comment on what the DLC was going to be like, investigate a frightening cosmic threat, explore a new planet, and find unique weapons, spacesuits, and gear in this all-new adventure. Last year, IGN gave Starfield a 7 out of 10. I didn't get to play Starfield, but this DLC is coming out to Xbox and PC. I really hope this gives Starfield the thing that people want, because it was criticized for being super linear, for being such an open world with millions and billions of planet, but unfortunately you can only land on certain parts of the world, and once you got away from the path, it kind of like had invisible walls. Kind of a cop-out considering that No Man's Sky exists and you can explore entire planets and it's No Man's Sky, and Bethesda is like this company that's been around for like 30 years and they can't get behind like making an actual game that's not lazy. I really hope that Bethesda doesn't lazy out with this game and kind of tones down on the bugs and kind of delivers its promises, because Bethesda really did mess up with Starfield. I know a lot of people liked it, but it was a very big letdown compared to what people were making out that it was going to be. Let's hope that Bethesda's future projects are nothing like this with Elder Scrolls and also with Fallout. I really hope that they put their 100% effort, because they kind of have the Eye of Sauron on them and they're not being let get away with the fact that their games come out buggy and really bad sometimes, that modders sometimes have to fix. In fact, a lot of modders kind of just not work on this game completely, so we'll see what happens. I'm rooting for Bethesda to do good in this DLC and their future games. Marvel Rivals is one of the many entries into a hero shooter that is very much like Overwatch, but with Marvel superheroes, which looks like it's gonna be a lot of fun, and I can't wait to play it. And I didn't get to get into the beta, but they did show at Gamescom that this game is going to be released in 2024 of December 6th, so I can't wait to play this game. I've seen a lot of influencers play this game. I saw Andy Cortez, the Nitro Rifle, play this game, and it looks like it's a lot of fun. And especially with me being a Marvel geek, loving these superheroes getting their time to shine with a game that's actually pretty good, and I can't wait to play it. And I'm counting the days to December 6th because I didn't get in the beta and play it to see what this game is all about. MetaQuest 3 has an exclusive VR game coming to them soon, and was announced at Gamescom that game is Arkham Shadow, and it's going to be on VR. It looks like a lot of fun. I'm not gonna lie to you. It looks like a lot of fun, and it looks like they actually put effort into this game. Let's hope that it's not a bad Batman game, because yeah, I hope it's really good. It's gonna be a VR game. Also revealed that the full cast of the voice actors for this game, the Batman voice is going to be voiced by Roger Craig. They haven't really said what the game is going to be about. They just said that it's going to be a new villain. They also revealed the full cast, as I'm going to reveal here. Troy Baker as Harvey Dent, Tara Strong as Harley Quinn. And yeah, so this is the full list, and I can't wait to see if they live up to the potential of the trailer, because it does look like you're doing Batman things. You're beating people up, you're beating criminals up, you're kind of bataranging people, and also Also ziplining your way to cover and doing the whole ninja thing that Batman does. Let's hope it lives up to the hype. I'm not really a fan of VR games, but I am rooting for them to do good, because anything that's innovative in gaming, I hope that it does good. Let's hope that this exclusive Batman Arkham Shadows does really well as well. Thank you for watching. This was a long one. There was a lot of news that I had to cover because there was just a lot of stuff was announced within the couple of days that I didn't do a news form. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed. And also leave a comment in the comment section. Tell me what you thought of Gamescom. What game do you look forward the most to be announced on Gamescom? I think this was day one. There's going to be a couple more days of announcements. Which games are you looking forward to? Tell me in the comment section. And remember, you're pretty good.